November the 10th, 1987, a rock was thrown through the back door of a bank in Santa Barbara, California. At first, bank officials and police wrote it off as a simple case of vandalism. Later, they came to believe that it was the ingenious first step in a robbery that would net nearly $140,000. California is the bank robbery capital of the world. Of all the robberies committed in the United States each year, 20% take place on the 200-mile stretch of coast encompassing Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. That is an average of 4 robberies per day, every day of the year. Although authorities solve better than 80% of these crimes, the robbery in Santa Barbara that began with a broken glass door has them stumped.
Who spilled the wine?
He did, all over his
Oh my gosh.
all over the table.
Who cleaned it up?
The waiters.
At 8:25 a.m. on the morning of November the 13th, 1987, at a Santa Barbara bank which has requested anonymity, 2 tellers assigned to open the bank proceeded with their morning duties.
How's your son's birthday?
That's great.
Nothing in the bank seemed suspicious, and all signs pointed to a day of business as usual.
Candles.
Their assessment could not have been more wrong.
Hold it right there or I'll kill you. Down on the floor. Now this'll tell me if you've called any police. Do so and I'll kill you both. All right, now move back.
The robbers seemed calm, cold-blooded, and thoroughly prepared.
Okay, let's get the reserve cash out.
Okay. Something.
No problem.
Now move back against this wall.
He knew exactly what he was looking for and seemed very deliberate in his actions. He wore a radio, which he said could pick up police communications, and he showed great familiarity with the bank's procedures.
Where's the rest of the reserve cash?
Our shipment didn't come in.
Your shipment didn't come in. Oh, that's just great.
At 8:30 that morning, the bank's manager arrived at work as usual. She tapped on the front door, expecting that the 2 tellers already inside would let her in. She got no response. Inside the bank, the robber was meticulously carrying out his plan. He handcuffed both tellers, one to the vault's interior door and the other to a movable cart.
Ladies, be good. I may be back to get your car keys.
Suddenly, the manager saw the robber. She ran to call the police. The manager told them that the robber was still inside the bank and that 2 tellers might be in the bank with him. Police responded immediately and surrounded the bank within minutes of the manager's call. They set up a command post in the building directly across the street. Listening inside the vault, the 2 women thought the robber had left the bank.
Can you see him? I was thinking that.
The teller chained to the movable cart decided to risk calling the police. Once outside the vault, she could hear noises coming from the bank's 2nd floor.
We've been robbed. Guy's still here.
Where do you hear him now? She told us that she could hear the suspect moving around on the 2nd floor, various noises and things being moved, and was very adamant about the fact that he was still in the bank.
I'm handcuffed. She's in the vault.
Because of the information that the suspect was still in the bank, I reacted with the SWAT team to a potential hostage situation.
The SWAT team moved in on the bank building itself. They covered all possible exits in order to trap the robber inside. Once the exits were secured, the team's first priority was to ensure the safety of the hostages in the bank.
After determining that one of the tellers was able to move around in the bank, I felt that it was in our best interest to remove her so we could talk to her and certainly cut the threat by 50%.
Yeah. Okay.
The other teller being forced to stay in the vault, I felt that the best course of action for her was to have the first teller lock the vault as she left the bank.
I have to lock her in the vault?
No, I don't want her to be locked in here.
Thus freezing the second teller from any approach by the suspect, so that the suspect then couldn't take her hostage and use that as any kind of a shield. During the time I had done this, we talked by phone with the vault company and determined how much air would have been in there for her, and we had bank employees who had the combination they provided us so we could get her back out when we were ready. First teller, on my command, moved out to the front door where she was met by the team, who would then cut her free from the handcuff and brought her back to the command post where we could interview her to find out more details about the robbery and develop a more detailed plan for search and apprehension inside the bank.
This is the Santa Barbara Police Department. The bank is surrounded. We want you to exit the front door holding your hands in the air.
Our entry team then entered the bank after several attempts to call the suspect out, searched the ground floor of the bank. Once they did that, a second SWAT team officer who had been practicing with the bank combination on a similar vault went into the bank, opened the vault, and was able to free the second hostage and remove her from the bank. At that point, when the second hostage was out of the bank and safe, our operation simply became a search and clear type operation, searching the bank for the suspect.
Yeah, come on, John, I'll show you what we did.
Police searched both floors of the bank inch by inch. All exits had been watched every minute since the bank manager's call, yet no sign of the robber was found.
The handcuffs.
Amazingly, the robber had disappeared, along with most of the contents of the vault.
As you can see, this is safe is open, and this is where we found it.
The normal take in a bank robbery is certainly under $1,000. In this robbery, the suspect netted upwards of $130,000.
Police dusted for fingerprints but found none. However, they did find one fascinating clue to the robber's modus operandi.
A few days later, during the course of investigation, we found that he had glued the alarm buttons in such a manner as to disable them so that they wouldn't activate the normal robbery alarm. This never became an issue in the case because none of the tellers were able to get to the alarm buttons, but it goes to show the extent that he went to make a successful robbery of this.
Police and the FBI began to piece together the robber's game plan. They theorized that the rock thrown through the bank's back door earlier in the week was thrown by the robber himself, testing for a perimeter alarm. Authorities believe that after he broke the door, he waited nearby to see if there would be any kind of police response. When there was none, he knew he could tamper with the bank's outer doors without fear of police intervention. Authorities speculate that he returned 3 nights later and forced his way into the bank.
The suspect drilled out the deadbolt lock on the door, which is how he gained entry to the bank. He just artificially disguised the lock so that when a cursory examination was made, it looked like it was still locked, and it wasn't the door that was normally used by the employees in any event, so it wasn't discovered until long after we were in our investigation.
Once inside the bank, the robber glued the alarm buttons and waited for the tellers to arrive.
In my mind and in my experience, an individual that's this cunning presents a real threat. If any of this had failed, both of these tellers would have been in a real precarious position. And an individual that commits this kind of robbery where he's bold enough to take the steps to enter a bank, wait there for the employees to arrive, and then essentially take them at gunpoint, move them around the bank, force them to do certain things. He's very calm, cunning, and quite dangerous in my mind, realistically. Very dangerous.
Through their investigation, the FBI believed they had uncovered the identity of the crazy glue robber. But before they were able to make their case, the suspect died in a motorcycle accident. The FBI now considers the case closed.